So I've been trying to find a cheap billboard. Nobody would call me back for this hidden billboard. But then I found this sign and I signed a 6-month contract for it. After the owner found out I'd be using half of the billboard for TikTok purposes, he voided the contract and returned my money. He said he might let us continue, but it will be on a message-to-message basis and I'm on thin ice. If you have any funny billboard ideas in Houston, let me know.
New TikTok law. If you're gonna make a mean duet about somebody, at least have the courage to tag them in the video.
Why do you build me up, buttercup baby, just to let me down and mess me?
Look at this dude, he actually messed up Little Uzi Vert's rim. Oh my god, what'd you do? I told you, bro, you gotta chill out, man. Yo, you really fucked up his rim, bro. Look at that. Look at that.
And discovers the candy. Is this admissible? Candy is illegal. Therion is properly detained for a non-candy related incident.
You have something bulging from your pocket. I'm just gonna pat you down to make sure it's not a weapon.
The officer then pats him down.
This isn't a gun, but this feels like Snickers bars.
So the evidence is admissible. The hypo assumes Therion is properly detained and candy is illegal. An officer may Terry frisk someone who is properly detained so long as they have reasonable suspicion that the suspect is armed and dangerous. Here the officer said,
You have something bulging from your pocket. I'm just gonna pat you down to make sure it's not a weapon.
Thus giving the officer the ability to frisk Therion. In a Terry frisk pat down, a felt object can be seized if the feeling creates an imminent sense of incriminating character.
This isn't a gun, but this feels like Snickers bars.
To recap, the hypo assumed Therion was properly detained. Once detained, the officer had reasonable suspicion to pat him down because of the bulge in his pocket. Once, during the pat-down, the officer felt the incriminating nature of the candy bars, thus giving him the ability to seize it. Is this evidence admissible in the case against the man with the pink shirt? Suspect is on the run.
Stop! Stop!
The suspect then runs and hides in his apartment, which is the last door on the left. The officer is in hot pursuit and asks a bystander for information.
Where did the guy in the black and white shirt go?
The bystander gave accurate information, but the officer negligently broke into the wrong apartment and discovered somebody else doing candy in the apartment.
What is that? You're under arrest.
The sign is up. My first shout out goes to one of the very first creators I ever followed, Riley and Margot. If you follow my videos, you know I'm her self-appointed TikTok lawyer, and I've been a fan of hers for a long time because she spread such a positive message. I hope you and Margot like the sign.
If the police order you out of the car, you have to get out.
Officers can pull people out of their vehicles for a number of reasons. Sometimes it's smoke safety, to make everyone safer, because I don't know you, you don't know me, so I'm not on the side of the road and everything like that. Maybe it's easier for us to do work inside of my squad car or on the sidewalk, or so I can investigate things further.
It's important to note that the officer can order you out of the car for any reason. They don't need probable cause. However, just because they order you out of the car does not mean that they necessarily get to search your car. In order to search your car, they need to do the analysis under the 4th Amendment and need probable cause.
In my experience, I always try to make the citizen feel as comfortable as possible. I don't always take people out of the car, but when I do, if they are misinformed on their rights, it can make things difficult. And in my state, you can actually get charges from anywhere between obstructing a justice to obstructing an officer.
To emphasize, the Supreme Court has said that asking you out of the car is not a search, so they can ask you out of the car for any reason. Know your rights.
I got pretty like a girl, and he got 5 stories to tell. See both sides like you know, see on both sides like you know. Women love to.
Normally, the police cannot break inside your house without a warrant. However, there are exigent circumstances that create an exception to the warrant requirement. One of the exceptions is when the officer is in hot pursuit of a suspect. But what if the officer breaks into the wrong dwelling during a hot pursuit?
Where did the guy in the black and white shirt go?
Well, under the good faith exception to the exclusionary rule, when police act in good faith and their actions aren't considered reckless, evidence does not get excluded.
What is that?
And it could be seen as reasonable, although negligent, that an officer break into the wrong apartment because of the high stress of the situation. To recap, the officer is in hot pursuit. This gives him an exigent circumstance to enter a dwelling without a warrant. However, he does go into the wrong apartment negligently, but he does so in good faith. Once in the apartment, he sees illegal activity occurring in plain view. Thus, the evidence is admissible.
Oh my god. Oh my god, he on X Games mode.
Tortious assault is defined as when you act intentionally to cause a reasonable apprehension of harmful or offensive contact. For instance, look at my button. Now, was that tortious assault? No, because it wasn't reasonable that the ball hit you through the phone. But you get the point. Strip club behind me won a temporary restraining order against the city of Houston, preventing it from being shut down when it reclassified itself as a restaurant that just so happens to have strippers rather than a strip club that also serves food. What are your thoughts?
So I got robbed by Poshmark, and I need you guys' help blowing this up so I can get some help. So I sold a red Chanel handbag on Poshmark to have a little extra cash because I needed it, coronavirus. And the buyer complained, saying that it was scratched. It wasn't, and returned it. This is the return box I got. It's cut open now because obviously I opened it to get the bag back. So inside, the tissue paper was already tattered, but the sticker was intact still. This is the box. So once I opened it, there was this paper and just a roll of tape. There is no bag inside. I filed multiple claims with Poshmark over this to try to get my money back because my goods were stolen. Their response? To call me fraudulent and ban my account. Please blow this up so we can stick it to Poshmark.